All right, let's think about this for a second. We use language all day, every day. I mean, we use it to order coffee, to argue with our friends, to tell stories. We feel like we're in charge of it, right? Like it's just this tool we've mastered. But what if we've got the whole thing completely backward? Yeah, the normal everyday view is pretty simple. We have a thought, we have a feeling, and we just reach for words to get it out. Language is our instrument. We are the ones pulling the strings. We're the masters. And this is the bombshell question that the philosopher Martin Heidegger drops on us. It's a question that's meant to just completely flip our whole understanding on its head. He suggests that we don't speak language, but that something way more mysterious is going on, that language actually speaks through us. So, to really wrap our heads around Heidegger's pretty wild idea, we first got to look at the traditional view he's pushing back against, this idea of language as just our greatest tool. You know, what Heidegger calls the common opinion sees speaking as, well, basically a biological thing. It's just the mechanics of our mouth, our tongue, our lips, making sounds to get what's inside our heads out. It's a tool for communication, a basic human function. In this view, language is just something we have. It's a capacity, kind of like our ability to see or to think logically. It's just another part of the human toolkit. We own it and we use it whenever we need it. But for Heidegger, this misses the entire point. And that brings us to the real heart of what Heidegger is trying to say here. He gives us this statement that sounds almost like a riddle, a paradox that just forces you to stop and rethink everything. Language speaks. Just let that sink in for a moment. Der Sprache spricht. Not a person speaks using language, but language speaks, as if language itself is the one doing the action. This is the big idea we really need to unpack. And of course, the immediate reaction is, wait, what, right? How can language do anything? It's just words and grammar. It doesn't have a mouth or a brain. To get this, we have to do a complete 180 in our thinking. So look, this is the fundamental flip that Heidegger is asking us to make. Instead of us possessing language, he says language kind of has us. It's not our property. It's the very foundation of our existence. It's the thing that makes our world, our reality, even possible in the first place. So if language speaks, then what the heck are we doing when we talk? Well, Heidegger's answer is that our speech isn't an act of creation from scratch. It's actually an act of response. He's saying that the really deep truths we manage to put into words, they aren't things we just invent out of thin air. No. Instead, language itself is what brings being, and by that Heidegger means the fundamental reality of everything, into the light. Our job is to listen for this unspoken word and give it a voice. We're more like conduits, not the source. And this is where Heidegger's most famous metaphor comes in. And it's brilliant. Language isn't a hammer we pick up and use. It's the house of being. It's the house we live inside. It's the very structure that gives our world its shape, its meaning. We don't exist somewhere else and then decide to use language. We are born and live and die inside of it. So the whole process starts with language itself. It calls to us, and we as humans are the beings who are able to hear that call. And our speaking, what he calls entsprechen, which literally means to correspond or to respond, is our answer to that original call. So real, authentic speaking actually begins with listening. Okay, I know this is still pretty abstract. So how does Heidegger actually describe what this speaking of language sounds like? He uses this incredibly beautiful, poetic phrase to get to the heart of it. The ringing of stillness. This is one of Heidegger's most famous and most challenging ideas. It's not a literal sound you can hear with your ears. It's his way of describing the fundamental magic of how language works, how it brings an entire world into existence. So first, let's break down that word stillness. For Heidegger, stille is not silence. It's not a dead, empty quiet. It's an intensely active force. It's a stilling that gathers everything, that brings all the scattered parts of the world together into a unified whole. I mean, listen to how he describes it. He says this stillness is always more moved than all movement and always more active than any agitation. Think of it like a quiet, powerful energy field that holds everything together, that lets things be what they are. And the ringing, or geläut, well, that's the sound this active stillness makes. It's the resonance. It's the call that summons the world, the sky, the earth, humanity, into relationship with each other. It's the primordial echo that allows a world to even appear for us. That is what language does.
That is language speaking.
Okay, so let's bring this all back down to earth. What does all of this actually mean for us, for you and me? How does this crazy philosophical journey change how we think about the words we use every day? The whole point is a massive shift in our perspective. And here's the big takeaway. If Heidegger is right about any of this, it means that to truly speak, we have to first learn how to be quiet. We need to stop thinking of ourselves as masters imposing our will on language and instead become listeners, really tuning in to what language itself is trying to say through us.
So let's just quickly recap the key ideas here. First, real speaking is a response, and that means it has to start with listening. Second, language isn't just a tool, it's the house we live in, the thing that shapes our reality. Third, the most important things are often unspoken, found in that act of stillness. This means thinking isn't just about logic, it's a way of hearing the world. And finally, here's the big paradox. The better we get at truly speaking, the more silent and attentive we actually become.
And so I'll leave you with this final thought to take with you. Underneath all the noise of our daily conversations, our arguments, our plans, language itself is always speaking. And if you could get truly quiet and really listen to that ringing of stillness, what do you think you might hear?